The secret I discovered? Speak to her emotions, not her mind. The fastest way to do this is a technique I call listen like a therapist. Why most men get it wrong. When you talk to a girl, within a short period, her mind will place you into one of three categories. Number 1, potential boyfriend. Number 2, friend zone. Number 3, someone she never wants to see again. I used to fall into the third category every single time. I was socially awkward, introverted, and clueless about how to talk to people, let alone women. After a lot of trial and error, I improved my social skills and moved to the second category, the friend zone. But I still couldn't figure out why I wasn't being seen as boyfriend material. Then I realized something that changed everything. The difference between a friend and a boyfriend is emotional connection. If you want a girl to feel attracted to you, you need to speak to her emotions, not just her logic. How to stir her emotions. There are 2 ways to stir emotions. Number 1, by bringing emotions out of her fur. Number 2, by putting emotions into her vest. At first, you can't force emotions into someone. It doesn't work like that. Instead, you need to help her unlock the door to her emotions. Once she starts expressing feelings, you've opened that door. So how do you bring those emotions out? Here's where the technique comes in. Ask emotional questions and listen like a therapist. Step 1. Ask emotional questions. Most conversations are boring and logical. For example, you, what do you do for work? Her, I work in marketing. You, oh, cool, that's it. The conversation goes nowhere. Why? Because it's shallow and lacks emotional depth. She'll forget you within minutes. Instead, ask emotional questions that make her express her feelings. For example, you, what do you do for work? I work in marketing. Do you love it? Or is it just a paycheck? Why? Now, she has to dig deeper and talk about her emotions. Maybe she'll say, I love it because I get to be creative. Or, not really, it's just something I fell into. Either way, she's now expressing herself emotionally, and that's what makes the conversation memorable. Step 2. Transition to emotional conversations. Once she starts expressing herself, don't just stop there. Use her answers as a bridge to keep the emotional flow going. For example, if she says, I love marketing because I get to be creative, you could respond, that's amazing. What's the most exciting project you've worked on? What made it special for you? If she says, not really, it's just something I fell into, you could ask, what would you do if you could choose anything? What's your dream job? By doing this, you're not just asking random questions, you're building a meaningful, emotional dialogue. Step 3. Listen like a therapist. Here's where most people mess up. They interrupt or make it all about themselves. Don't do that. When she's talking, truly listen. Let her express herself fully without cutting her off. Show genuine interest by making eye contact, nodding, and responding thoughtfully. Your goal is to make her feel heard and understood because, let's face it, most people don't feel that way in their daily lives. Remember, the ideal balance in a conversation is 70% her talking, 30% you talking, especially at the beginning. Let her take the spotlight. Avoid the interview trap. Now, a word of caution. Don't fall into the trap of just firing off question after question like it's an interview. Instead, let the conversation flow naturally. Each question should connect to the previous one, like stepping stones leading to deeper emotional connection. Examples of emotional questions. If you're struggling to come up with emotional questions, here are a few examples. Number 1. What's something you're really passionate about and why? Number 2. What's one thing you've done that you're really proud of? Number 3. If you could relive one moment in your life, what would it be and why? Number 4. What's your dream travel destination and what about it excites you? Number 5. When was the last time you felt truly happy? These questions aren't just about getting answers, they're about helping her open up and feel emotionally engaged. A story to illustrate the power of emotional connection. Let me tell you a story. A while ago, I invited a girl over to my place. Before she came, she told me, I'm coming over, but just to hang out. Nothing more than kissing, no closeness. Okay? I said, no problem. When she arrived, we started talking, and I suggested we take a personality test together. As we went through the questions, I didn't just ask them well-being. I used them as a way to dive into deeper conversations about her life, her dreams, and her feelings. We laughed, shared stories, and connected on an emotional level. By the end of the night, despite what she had said earlier, we ended up being attracted. Why? Because for women, emotional connection triggers physical attraction. When you stir her emotions and make her feel understood, you create a level of closeness that goes beyond words. The key takeaways: number 1, speak to her emotions, not just her logic. Number 2, ask emotional questions that make her express her feelings. Number 3, transition from emotional questions to emotional conversations. Number 4, listen like a therapist. Be present, engaged, and understanding. Number 5, avoid the interview trap by letting the conversation flow naturally. This technique doesn't just work with romantic interests, it can help you connect deeply with anyone. Try it out, and I promise you'll see a difference in the way people respond to you. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. In upcoming episodes, I'll dive even deeper into social skills, emotional intelligence, and how to create lasting connections. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.